Today on Jonathan Bird's Blue World, a surprise visit to a Blue World fan's house.
I got this! Hi, I'm Jonathan Bird, and welcome to my world. Recently, I got an email from Chris Whitlock, the father of one of my biggest fans, Jake Whitlock. He thought I might be interested in this paper Jake wrote as a homework assignment. It turns out that Jake's biggest dream is to go scuba diving with Jonathan Bird. Well, you know, sometimes dreams really do come true, and boy, do we have a surprise for Jake today.
But first, the production team has to find Jake's house. You would think someone would have brought a GPS.
It's right here.
Yeah, I mean, you can throw a golf ball across it.
Yeah.
How can we be lost?
With me is Catherine Apps, a scuba instructor who specializes in certifying younger divers.
Hopefully he doesn't see us coming. That would ruin the whole thing. Hey!
Hey!
Hey, Jake!
Hi!
How you doing, man?
Good! Why are you guys here?
I got this from your dad, this paper that you wrote about scuba diving with some guy named Jonathan Bird.
Oh my god!
Yeah, so here's
said that to you?
Yeah, so here's the thing. In order for you to go scuba diving with me, you actually have to become a scuba diver.
Oh.
So guess what I have here? I have a special person to introduce you to. This is Kat. She's going to be your
Jake.
dive instructor.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah.
All right, to get started with the certification here, you're gonna have to do a little bit of reading.
Okay.
Here's your open water diver book. So you're gonna get started on that. And once we start doing some dives, your own dive log book.
Oh, thank you. So cool.
So you better start reading right away, mister.
Yeah.
We meet Jake's parents and fill them in on Jake's adventures to come, but we're keeping a few things secret.
We're gonna read through that book. There's gonna be a bunch of questions you're gonna have to answer.
Okay.
We're gonna do a classroom portion, and then we're gonna jump in the pool and do some work with you in the pool.
Okay.
All right, and when you're good and ready, you take an exam. You'll pass. Flying colors, no problem,
Yeah.
right? Okay. And then we're gonna hop in the ocean.
Okay.
Jake has been dying to go scuba diving since he was 4 years old when he did this drawing.
Yeah, he's wanted to be underwater for a very, very long time.
What Jake doesn't know is that the surprises are not over. But first things first, Jake has to learn to dive. In the classroom, Kat teaches Jake about diving physics, the basics of the gear, and how to untangle a regulator. And then she takes him to the pool where he must pass a swimming test. You can't really be a scuba diver if you can't swim.
Twirl around with your hands.
She checks to be sure he can tread water.
Clap your hands. Clap your hands.
And executes a perfect cannonball. I'm not sure if the cannonball is part of the class, though. Once Kat knows Jake is comfortable in the water, he's ready for his first experience breathing from a scuba regulator.
Okay, so where are your hands gonna be? There you go. Get your feet in the water. Feet in the water, there you go. Makes things a lot easier.
But as he discovers, just getting into the water with all that gear is a bit of a challenge. And then the big moment. Jake breathes underwater for the first time. Next, Kat teaches him to control his buoyancy, using a small ring through which Jake must swim without touching the edge. It takes him a couple tries, but when he finally gets it, time for a little underwater fun.
So how'd you like it?
It was amazing.
Yeah?
Dream come true.
Sunny.
To prove he actually learned something, Jake takes a written final exam and aces it. With the classroom and pool work behind him, now Jake must prove his skills in open water. He and Kat will do 2 ocean dives in the murky Atlantic off the coast of Massachusetts. The water's chilly, so Jake needs a wetsuit. He struggles a bit putting on a wetsuit for the first time. Kat and I are suiting up too.
I can't even get this off.
With his dad watching in amusement, Jake finally squirms into the wetsuit and he's ready to tackle the North Atlantic. I've made my way out to the water, ready to film Jake's first open ocean dive. Jake and Kat take a dive flag to let boaters know where they are. There's a last-minute adjustment underwater, and then Kat tests Jake with a series of exercises and drills. She wants to make sure Jake knows what to do in an emergency. There's even a moment to explore some wildlife, a rock crab desperately trying to get away. And then, his first of 5 checkout dives is over.
The sharks were amazing.
There were no sharks.
So that was your first real dive.
Uh-huh.
Tell me what you thought. I mean, what was it like?
It was amazing. So much fun being down there, swimming around, being able to breathe. Seeing the rock formations underwater with all the seaweed on them was really cool because you can't really see them from up here, but seeing them down there was really cool.
Jake's almost ready now for his adventure diving with me.
Nope.
But we're not gonna do it in the North Atlantic. No, we're about to surprise Jake again. We hop a plane to a tropical island with crystal clear water, Grand Cayman. Grand Cayman is a world-famous diver's paradise in the heart of the Caribbean. We stay at Sunset House, world-renowned as one of the ultimate hotels for diving. And later that day, yet another surprise for Jake.
Jake! Just the guy we're waiting for, buddy!
Hey,
we have a huge surprise for you. I want you to see something humongous. Check this out.
Oh my God.
This is a gift for you. This is from Subgear and Diver Supply and Sunset House.
Oh my God.
And I'm going to introduce you to Adam, who's going to tell you about what you have just won.
We've got mass snorkel fins with the booties for you. We've got a suit so you're not cold in your dives, and a BCD, and a regulator, and a bag to carry it all in.
Oh, thank you so much.
You're very welcome. That is cool. You know what? This is unfair. I'm the host and I didn't get anything.
Yeah, I'm the lucky one.
You are the lucky one, man.
Star.
This is cool.
My show now.
Wow. I'm out of here.
Jake, it turns out, is also a runway model.
Introducing Whitlock, I guess.
Equipped with his new gear, Jake goes with Kat for his final checkout dives right off the dock at Sunset House. In the crystal clear water, Jake practices his skills until Kat believes he's ready to go exploring. Then Kat takes him on his first tour of the amazing underwater world of Grand Cayman Island.
Congratulations, Jake. You are officially open water certified.
Thank you so much.
Now let's go diving.
Yeah.
The next day, we head out to the reef for a real dive. And now that Jake is a certified diver, we can dive together. First, a briefing about the dive site.
And then you'll be able to see the top of the reef there. Lots and lots of fantastic corals.
You ready? Let's do it. Go! We're alive.
The Cayman Islands are built from coral, which grows on top of an underwater mountain range. I show Jake the drop-off where it gets really deep. Then we head into shallow water to explore some fun passageways through the reef. As we get ready to return to the surface, a little celebration. What started as a dream in a school paper came true. Jake is having a blast. The next day, I have another surprise for Jake, which I give him on our way out to dive a shipwreck.
Jake, you've been through a lot this weekend, so we only have one more thing to foist upon you. This is gonna be fun. You get, as your final gift, an authentic pair of Force Fin Pros. That's the exact same model that I wear. And these are our gift of Bob Evans and Force Fin. He's the guy who makes these things. And you'll notice that he's even signed it for you.
Oh my God.
Yeah, those are authentic Force Fins.
Oh, thank you so much.
Yeah, you're welcome.
You'll have to thank Bob for me.
I will. And you can try them on this dive if you're feeling, living dangerously.
After all, I heard how much better these are than normal fins. So
They are.
I think I will definitely have to
They
try
are
these.
much better. All right.
Okay,
Let's go diving.
Our next dive is on a shipwreck. First, Jake and I listen to the dive briefing.
It was actually sunk this year in January. It took from 10 o'clock in the morning to 2 o'clock in the afternoon for it to sink. And here it lies.
All right, let's go find this wreck. You ready, Jake?
Yep.
Let's do it.
Jake and I hit the water and can't believe how well we can see the entire wreck. The water is extremely clear. The Kittiwake was sunk as an artificial reef in January of 2010. It hasn't been down very long. The ship was thoroughly cleaned, all toxic materials were removed, and dangerous pieces detached before the ship was sunk. It's still like new, though. It hasn't been underwater long enough to build up much encrusting sea life. There is one homesteader who moved in immediately, though. This Goliath Grouper just hangs out here on the sand by the propeller. He must be used to divers because he isn't bothered by us at all. The Kittiwake rescued sailors from damaged submarines, and much of its history is still classified. It lies in only 67 feet of water, an ideal depth for recreational divers. It's so shallow at the top that even snorkelers can enjoy this wreck. Jake and I swim above the decks, exploring the ship, imagining her secret past, the sailors who served here, and the adventures she had in the service of the U.S. Navy. Shipwrecks are fun to explore. In the Kittiwake's wheelhouse, Jake takes control of the ship. He may have a lot more trouble with getting a driver's license than he did with a scuba certification. And these jacks aren't taking any chances either. They're getting out of the way. Jake, newly certified and diving in the Cayman Islands, truly is king of the world. We have one last treat for Jake we can't pass up while here, diving with the Stingrays.
Now there's two Stingray cities on the island. We've got the dive site, which we're on at the moment, and then the sandbar where they take all the cruise shippers, okay? So the sandbar is about 3 feet deep, and you just paddle about and they brush up against you and all that sort of stuff. You don't get a chance to feed them like you do here, okay? We get a chance to interact with them properly and feed them.
Most stingrays don't readily approach humans, but here on Grand Cayman, years of fishing waste thrown overboard has attracted them. Stingrays are related to sharks, but as you can see, they're quite docile. They defend themselves with a sharp, venomous barb at the base of their tail, but they're very rarely aggressive. This is what divers feed them, little pieces of squid. Appetizing, huh? Sometimes you can lead them around with your hand, kind of teasing them until you give them the food. Jake discovers the trick for feeding the stingrays. You have to put the food in your palm and let them do the work. It takes some practice. Eventually, Jake and I have a stingray mini feeding frenzy on our hands. One of them develops a crush on cameraman Tim and won't leave him alone. I think Tim likes her. And so, after the dive at Stingray City, we prepare to leave the Cayman Islands. And would you believe it? Jake's school paper, in which he dreams about diving with some guy named Jonathan Bird, magically came true.